Something feels off in your day, and you probably cannot name it yet. It has to do with movement, and it has to do with words. And for you, Capricorn, both of those things are about to stop repeating themselves for the first time in a long while. Let us start with what is actually shifting. For a stretch now, you have been living inside a loop, small trips, the same roads, the same errands, planes or cars, or even a scooter ride you could do with your eyes closed. That loop has felt endless, a revolving door that never quite opened onto anything new. Here is the big news. From the Western tropical lens, that door is closing. The lunar north node is exiting Pisces and your third house of communication, a life path shift that only happens once every year and a half, and it does not arrive quietly. Alongside it, your travel patterns are finally breaking their repetition. From August, new channels for getting your message across start opening, new platforms, new ways to be heard, though whether they actually serve you is a question worth sitting with rather than answering today. Layer onto that life path shift a much faster moving story, the one written by the moon. The moon sits in Aquarius, your second house of finances, and it forms a sextile to Saturn resting in your fourth house of home. In Western technical terms, this is resource meeting structure, a supportive angle between money and foundation. At the same time, this same Aquarius moon pings Mars in your details sector, sharpening your eye for numbers, contracts, and fine print. And separately, Vedic astrologers watching this same Aquarius moon read it differently. They associate it with a restless, agitated domestic undercurrent, small frictions at home that do not need fixing so much as writing out. Notice that the same moon, 3 traditions, 3 angles into one day. That is not a contradiction, that is the whole chart talking. But here is what changes everything about how today actually feels. You are not just getting one transit, you are getting a rare stack, a multi-year door swinging shut in your travel and communication houses at the exact moment a single day's moon is asking you to get precise about money and tolerant about family noise. That combination is why today may feel oddly loaded, like more is happening internally than the calendar suggests. Take that stack into your relationships and something tender shows up. A miscommunication may land today, small, maybe even silly in hindsight, and the temptation will be to let it sour your whole mood. Resist that. The evolutionary red here is straightforward. The node's exit from your communication house means old patterns of over-explaining or over-defending yourself are losing their grip, so a stray misunderstanding does not have to spiral the way it once did. If you are partnered, a little initiative goes further than usual right now, reaching out first, naming what you appreciate instead of waiting to be prompted. If you are single, the same principle holds. Small deliberate gestures carry more weight than grand ones today. And here is a detail most people scanning their horoscope will skim past. That same Aquarius moon, the one stirring family tension, is simultaneously the moon making the generous sextile to Saturn. 2 moods from one placement. The Vedic tradition would tell you to expect friction. Be cautious around a loved one who seems short-tempered. Take the high road rather than engage. The Western tradition, reading the sextile, tells you that underneath the friction, there is real structural support available for practical decisions. Both are true at once, and that is the shape of today, mildly tense on the surface, quietly stable underneath. Carry that stability into work. A small error at work could surface, and the instinct will be to treat it as a crisis. It probably is not. With meticulous Mars pinging your details sector via that same Aquarius moon, your thoroughness is unusually high today, so mistakes tend to get caught and corrected quickly rather than snowballing. That precision is worth noticing, because it is the same quality that is about to matter even more in the next area. Which brings us to money, and here is where today genuinely rewards attention. The Moon-Saturn sextile is exact. resources talking to foundation, comfort talking to security. This is a session for reviewing numbers, not reacting to them. Choose one limit that feels fair, whether it is a spending boundary or a savings target. And if the decision affects someone else, say why. It does not need to be dramatic. A quiet, well-explained plan settles more nervous systems than a passionate speech ever could. Go over the details with the same fine-tooth comb energy that is protecting you at work. And consider making this review a habit rather than a one-off, because Saturn rewards consistency far more than intensity. Here is the truth bomb worth sitting with. Most people will experience today as either stressful, the family friction, the work slip, the miscommunication, or productive, the money clarity, the sharpened focus. You are actually getting both, and they are connected. The very same precision that is making you a little edgy at home is the precision that is protecting your bank account and your reputation at work. What feels like friction today is actually your standards recalibrating. Most people will miss that connection. You do not have to. That recalibration touches your body too. When Saturn and structure are active, the nervous system often registers it as tightness, shoulders, jaw, a general bracing. If you notice that today, it is not random. It is the same energy asking you to build slowly rather than push hard. Some Vedic practitioners might suggest Saturn-related remedies for moments like this, particular mantras or gemstones chosen for someone's individual chart. But that kind of prescription genuinely requires personal analysis. It is not something to adopt just because you share a sun sign with someone else. What is universally safe and worth trying today is simpler: wearing white, which Vedic tradition associates with calm on a day like this, or just taking a few minutes to breathe and let your shoulders drop before you respond to anything emotionally charged. That is especially relevant at home. The domestic friction we named earlier tends to show up as small squabbles rather than real conflict. Someone's tone is off, someone's patience is thin. If a family member seems to be in a genuinely bad mood, the wisest move is distance, not correction. Give the moment room instead of trying to fix it in real time. Socially, this is a good day to be pleasant and low-key rather than deeply invested in outcomes. Let people have their moods without absorbing them as your own. If travel is on your mind this week, there is something worth naming honestly. The repetitive short trips that have defined your recent routine are winding down, not because anything's wrong, but because that particular cycle has simply run its course. Picture it like a hallway you have walked so many times you stopped noticing the doors along it. One of those doors is now closing for good, and it is reasonable to feel a little unmoored by that, even if the change is ultimately healthy. Spiritually, this is less a day for big declarations and more a day for quiet honesty with yourself about which habits, communication, or otherwise, have actually been serving you. If you want a quick read on today's rhythm, the hours between 4 and 5 in the afternoon lean favorable, and again between 10 and 11 at night, according to Vedic timing traditions, and white remains the color most associated with ease today. So here is where that leaves you. Review one number today and set one fair, explained limit. Give a cranky relative space instead of a rebuttal. Let a small mistake stay small. And notice, quietly, that the door closing on old travel and communication patterns is not a loss. It is room being made for something less repetitive. You came into today sensing something was different. Now you know what it was: structure and freedom arriving on the same day, asking you to build one while releasing the other. That is not a coincidence, Capricorn. That is your chart doing exactly what it is supposed to do.